Welcome to Cheat Sheet Tales, where secrets slip, lies unravel, and the truth always has a twist. Real stories, raw confessions, shocking betrayals. Drop a comment if you've ever caught a red flag too late. Now, let's get into today's tale. When I brought up my promotion, my father-in-law interrupted. "She'll quit soon. No one wants a loud wife." My husband laughed. I watched them toast to my supposed failure. That weekend, I moved out quietly. But the real shock hit when my name was announced as, I'm 37. I live in North Carolina. I used to be married to a man named Derek. We were together for 6 years, married for almost 5. I thought we were happy. I thought we were building something together. But I didn't realize I was the only one actually doing the work. This story starts with one dinner, but the truth is, it had been building up for a long time. I work in commercial real estate development. Not the glamorous part, more like managing land use deals, zoning headaches, and pushing through large-scale construction approvals. It's not flashy, but I'm good at it. I worked my way up for over a decade, first as an admin, then assistant project manager, then site lead, and finally, regional director. So when I was offered a VP position with a big firm out of Raleigh, it wasn't some miracle. I earned it. I beat out 5 other people. I was the only woman in the running. When I told Derek, his first words were, "Are you sure you can handle that kind of stress?" Not congratulations. Not I'm proud of you. Just that. I ignored it at first. I thought he was just being cautious or nervous about the move. The new role meant I'd be in Raleigh 3 days a week at first. Eventually, we might move there permanently. I told him I could cover the cost of a second apartment myself. Still, he kept acting like it was a bad idea. But I let it go. I wanted to believe he'd come around. That Friday night, we went to his parents' house for dinner. They live about 30 minutes from us, just outside of town. We go there often enough. And usually, it's tolerable. His mom is nice, but walks on eggshells around his dad. His dad, Marshall, is the kind of man who thinks anything he doesn't understand is a threat. I didn't even plan to bring up the promotion, but his mom asked how work was going, so I answered honestly. I said, "Actually, I accepted a new role, Vice President of Development. It's a big step and I'll be..." That's when Marshall cut me off. "She'll quit soon," he said. "No one wants a loud wife with a fancy title. She'll be back home within a year." He laughed, and then Derek lifted his glass. "To Melissa's next big title," he said, grinning. "Until she realizes it's too much." They clinked glasses and laughed together, like I wasn't even there. I looked across the table. His mom kept her eyes on her plate. No one said anything. Something in me cracked right then. Not loudly. Quietly. Like something inside me got very still. I finished my food in silence. I smiled when I had to. I washed my hands in their bathroom and stared at myself in the mirror for 5 straight minutes. I didn't yell. I didn't confront them. I just watched myself breathing. That night, while Derek slept, I started packing. I took only what I needed: clothes, work stuff, laptop, passport, some cash. I didn't slam drawers or leave the closet bare. I left it looking like someone had just gone on a short trip. I even made the bed. By Sunday morning, I was in Raleigh. I had signed a lease on a small apartment weeks earlier, just in case. Something in my gut had warned me. I didn't tell anyone. Used money from a savings account my grandmother had left me when she passed. I hadn't touched it in years. On the kitchen counter, I left a note. "I'm gone. You don't get to laugh at me and still have me. If you need anything, contact my lawyer." Then I blocked his number. I changed my phone plan. I cut off his access to our joint credit card. I left our shared Google Calendar. I didn't leave room for begging. I didn't want to hear any fake apologies. He showed me who he was. The next few weeks were intense. I moved fully into the Raleigh apartment and started the new job. It was overwhelming, but in a good way. I was finally working with people who didn't see me as some ambitious wife, but as a leader. The pressure was high. But so was the reward. Then came the gala. It was a formal corporate event to announce the new senior-level promotions. Clients were there, investors, journalists. My name was called Melissa Harwood, Senior Vice President of Regional Development. Walked up on stage. Everyone clapped. I smiled. I gave a speech about persistence, growth, and knowing your worth. My voice was steady the entire time. Someone snapped a photo of me standing at the podium, smiling in a white suit. That photo went on LinkedIn. I didn't add a caption, just posted the image. That's when people started talking. I got messages, likes, DMs. A few reporters reached out. And apparently, Derek saw it. The photo hit LinkedIn on a Tuesday morning. By noon, it had over 10,000 likes. Not because I was famous, but because I represented something. A lot of women tagged their friends in the comments. A few coworkers from old jobs commented things like, "You always deserved this," or "About time someone recognized you." I didn't think about Derek. I didn't care if he saw it. But he did. Because that same evening, my phone lit up. Unknown number. Voicemail. I didn't listen to it at first, but curiosity got the better of me. I put in earbuds and hit play while I finished washing dishes. His voice came through, flat and slow. "Melissa, I saw the post. Wow. Guess I really underestimated you. Call me back." I didn't. The next day, a bouquet of flowers showed up at my office. Huge, expensive. I told the receptionist to donate them. Then came the email. He used my work address this time. That pissed me off. I had made it clear I wanted space. It read, "I'm sorry for what I said. My dad was being a jerk, and I laughed because I didn't know what else to do. Please talk to me." Still, I said nothing. A week later, I heard from his mom. She left a voicemail too. Her voice was shaky. "Sweetheart, I had no idea how badly that dinner went. I'm so sorry. Marshall he's difficult. Derek's been miserable without you." I blocked her number too. 2 weeks later, a certified letter showed up at my apartment. I opened it. Divorce papers. But not from me. From him. At first, I thought he was trying to beat me to it. To save face. But then I read the fine print. He was asking for spousal support. Yes, you read that right. He wanted me to pay him monthly support. He claimed I abandoned the marital home, and that I had unilaterally made a decision to relocate. He said he had given up career growth opportunities to support my ambitions, and that now he was destabilized financially. He attached an affidavit showing his income, lower than mine. Yes, but conveniently left out the part where he had taken a demotion by choice last year so he could work fewer hours and find himself. It was disgusting. I hired a lawyer, a real shark, a woman named Valerie. She read the papers and just said, "Oh, he's trying it. We'll bury him." We did. While that was going on, I focused on work. But things started to get weird. Someone from my old neighborhood messaged me on Facebook to ask if I was okay. I asked why. She said Marshall had been telling people that I had a mental breakdown and had left Derek in the middle of the night for another man. Another man? I hadn't so much as gone on a date. I was furious, but I kept quiet. I didn't post anything. I let them talk. Then came the job fair. Our company had a booth at a real estate expo in Charlotte. It was open to the public. I was scheduled to speak on a panel about women in development. The room was full. And guess who walked in? Derek. He didn't sit down. just stood at the back watching me. I didn't acknowledge him. I gave my talk, smiled, answered questions. Afterward, he approached me. No warning. Just stood in front of me like we were strangers waiting for a train. He looked thinner, hollow, like someone who hadn't been sleeping. "You really just left," he said. "You didn't even try to work it out," I said. "You toasted to my failure." He shook his head, like he couldn't believe I was still mad about it. "It was a joke." "No," I said. "It was the truth. You just said it like a joke." Then I walked away. I could feel his eyes on me as I left the room. That night, I got an email from Valerie. She'd found something interesting. The email came at 9:43 p.m. Subject line: "Thought you'd want to see this." She'd been digging into Derek's financials as part of the divorce process. Normally, we just go after a clean split, since we didn't have kids and kept most assets separate. But since he was asking for support, that opened a door. Valerie sent me screenshots from his bank records, public data we got through Discovery, and there it was, 3 months before I left, right around the time I first told him about my job offer. Derek had started pulling money from our joint emergency fund, small amounts at first, $200 here, $500 there, then 2 separate withdrawals of $3,000 each. Where did it go? He had opened a separate account under his name only, then used it to buy plane tickets, hotel stays, and transfer payments marked TG Consulting. Only problem, TG was not a consulting firm. It was Sabrina Garrison, his ex from college. I recognized the name immediately. I stared at the screen, my hand shaking. Valerie's note underneath was short. "He's been funneling money. We can bring fraud into this." The next day, I called her. "Do we go after him for the money?" I asked. "We can do more than that," she said. "We can force him to show how much of your earned income was used to support his personal affairs. And if he was lying under oath about it, we can bring that into the settlement. Let's play hardball." I agreed. That week, she sent a subpoena for all communication between Derek and this woman, along with travel receipts and digital correspondence. He stalled, claimed his emails had been deleted, claimed the account wasn't active anymore. We pushed harder. Then I got another letter from his lawyer. Derek wanted to reconsider the divorce, said he was open to reconciliation if I'd agreed to joint therapy. It was pathetic. After all that, now he wanted to talk? Valerie and I drafted a response. Settlement negotiations only. No reconciliation. All communications go through counsel. We weren't done. I had one more move to make. You see, my company was hosting a major Women in Leadership Summit in Raleigh that month. Press would be there. Clients. Executives from across the East Coast. I was set to be a keynote speaker. I sent in my final presentation the week before. And in the last 3 minutes of my talk, I told the audience something I hadn't said publicly before. I said, "Some people think strong women are hard to love. And maybe we are, because we don't settle for being talked over, laughed at, or pushed aside, especially not in our own homes." The room went quiet. I looked straight into the camera. Some people will toast to your failure before you've even started. But those are the people who were always afraid you'd succeed. I didn't name names, but I didn't have to. That clip made the rounds, and guess what? Sabrina Garrison messaged me on LinkedIn. She didn't know Derek was married. He told her we were separated last year, said I'd been emotionally distant and selfish. She apologized, sent me screenshots, emails, voice notes, all of it. Valerie's eyes lit up when I forwarded them. "You just handed me gold," she said. We took everything Sabrina gave us. Emails, texts, even a picture of Derek sitting on her hotel bed in Atlanta, dated just 3 weeks before that dinner with his parents. The man was so sloppy, He used his personal Gmail to forward work documents to her. Confidential stuff. Things from my projects, too. I sent the file to our company's internal counsel. HR looped in immediately. Derek had signed an NDA while I was still helping him get small contract gigs with my old firm. That opened a new door. Corporate sent him a candidacy for IP theft. He panicked. His lawyer tried to bargain. Said Derek would drop the spousal support claim if we didn't escalate. Valerie smiled and sent a counteroffer. Derek drops everything, signs over his share of the house, and we agree not to file criminal charges. He refused. So we filed. He was charged with breach of NDA and misappropriation of confidential company information. It was a felony under North Carolina law. It wouldn't get him jail time, but it ruined his career in real estate. He tried, switching industries, but word spread. People talk, especially in this business. The cherry on top? His own father, Marshall, pulled funding from a business Derek had been planning to open, a small property flipping venture. I heard through the grapevine that Marshall had co-signed the initial loan documents, but backed out the minute things got messy. Marshall had a reputation to protect. After all, he couldn't be tied to drama. When I saw Marshall at a conference months later, he didn't say a word to me. Just looked down and walked the other way. But the real moment, the one that still makes my chest feel warm, came in December. We held a holiday mixer at our Raleigh office. It was our company's biggest event of the year. Everyone dressed up. Champagne, food, awards. And that night, our CEO made an announcement. I was promoted. Again. This time to executive vice president. There were only 3 EVPs in the whole company, and I was now one of them. I stood on stage holding the award, and all I could think about was that dinner table. That moment when Derek and Marshall laughed, clinked their glasses, and toasted to my failure, like it was already written in stone. I didn't fail. I thrived, and they had to watch. Sabrina, she cut off contact with Derek completely. She moved to Denver. She thanked me again for telling her the truth. Derek? Last I heard, he was living with his mom. Marshall wouldn't let him back in the house. No job, no money, and no wife. He tried to message me once more. Can we talk? I didn't reply. Because no, we couldn't talk. You don't get to laugh at me, betray me, steal from me, and then ask for my time. That part of my life is over.